Buona giornata and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be playing with the new, I mean they're all new, but the newest Anastasia and Norvina palette. This is the volume 3. I'm going to do looks with this today, 2 different looks, and then we will do comparison swatches of all 3, 1, 2, and 3 palettes at the end. That way you guys can kind of see some similar shades, because there are similar shades between the 3 palettes. Like 1 is definitely purple toned, 2 is definitely blue green tone, and then 3 has a good mix. But 3 is the one that I'm dying to use on camera right now, and I'm gonna stop blabbering because this is gonna be a long video in general, but hopefully you guys will like the swatches and everything. I will say, I mean, I know it's annoying that she's coming out with 3 palettes pretty much all at the same time, which of course, you know, I mean, it's not like I know her. She does not call me at home, but they did say like it had something to do with leaking, the palettes leaked, or, you know, whatever. I don't know about that. I'm trying to see the silver lining here, which is more so now you can really see which color store you would want, rather than if they were spread out, you would probably feel even more so like, oh, I need to get this. I need to get this. And maybe this way with the comparison swatches, it will help you guys decide which one is worth the $60. That way you're not feeling you have to buy all of them, which I did purchase these with my own money. Lord help me. All right. I feel guilty, okay? Don't worry. But hopefully you guys will like this and it helped you. So that is it. Let's go ahead and jump in. Please don't forget to subscribe. I really tried for this one. This is the longest one I think I've ever done. So let's go ahead and jump in. That's it. Okay, so I wanted to do at least a neutral look and then a colorful look. That way you kind of get a feel for the palette. I did use this yesterday. We are going to start with a 3, which is this shade right here. And then I think we're going to pop into some of the oranges. But when I look for a palette, I want to make sure that it's a wearable palette. You know what I mean? Like, not to say I don't just get colorful palettes, because I totally do. But I was like thinking, and my hand had something on it. Oh, I just swatched the pink. No, okay, it's going to be fine. But yeah, I looked to see how wearable it is. I was thinking the other day, and I was like, I know we're having so much fun with like all these colorful palettes, and we asked for it for so long, and I feel like now everyone's just like, okay, please go back to the neutrals, you know, like wearable type palettes. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't remember the last time I've went out, like when I wandered from my house, which is rare occurrence. But where I've seen someone wear a colorful look. Like, have you guys? Like, I feel like we see it in like magazines and on runways and, you know, on YouTube. But like I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't really ever see it anywhere else. Like, not to say I don't want to wear. I always like think about what I want to wear first, and then I match my eye look to compared to like what I want to wear, or the other way around. I do a colorful look, and then I'm like, okay, black it is, you know. But yeah. So I was just kind of thinking about that in general, and I filmed a look I did with this palette yesterday, but it was super messy and I needed to just get ready in like 5 minutes. And I had a really pretty look, but like I just got in my head about it where I was like, oh, people are going to tear me apart for it because it's not blended perfectly. And, you know, and I just want to know, like, in everyday life, are you guys really that concerned? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. Like, I'm more just like, whatever makes me, you know, feel a little bit better throughout the day, then that's it. Like, that's all I need. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of extra, like, oh, I feel like I tried at life today. So I really like the brown tones of this palette a lot. Like I said, I kind of just want to do more of a neutrally type look first. So I'm going to dip into, I'm going to use the same brush. This is my Sonia G Blender Pro. And I'm going to dip into D1 to deepen that up a little bit. Same exact brush. That's why I love these brushes. They're so easy and convenient for whatever shapes you want to do. I do have some staining on my eyes. My eyes are red. It's just, it's been palette overload. You know what I mean? Like, we've just had so many. So my eyeballs are hating me. All right, so I'm going to dip into this C1 shade, this like brick type color, and then I think I'm going to dip into like A5, which is the oranges. Did any of you guys actually watch the Emmys? Because I did not. I thought I was going to, and then I just forgot. and I barely watch it. I really want to watch Fleabag now. I've been trying to get my husband to get into that. He's just so, ugh. Sometimes I can get him to watch anything, and sometimes he's just being a turd. Now that it won all these awards, he's like, oh, we should watch it. You know? I'm just like, oh, really? Because I made you watch the trailer 5 times, and you said no. But we've been watching a lot of really good shows. We watched the Roger Ailes show. That was amazing. Talking about, you know, I think you kind of realize a lot more, like, why women are stuck in situations that they are. Like, I feel like it's really easy to be like, why don't they just quit? Like, if they're being sexually harassed, like, why would they put up with that? And you kind of watch this and you're like, oh, because there really wasn't an option. So I really enjoyed that show. Unbelievable was a really good show on Netflix that we also watched. I'm like, I'm not going to talk too much during these tutorials because I want to make sure I get this done because I'm going to be, you know, doing so much. And then now here I am just like, but you guys are my friends. I try to talk to you about like everything I do. I'm going to take a tiny bit of this really dark shade just because I feel like I need a little bit. And I'm just going to focus that right here, just the tiniest bit, just to kind of deepen that up. And then we're almost done with the crease. I am going to go ahead and cut the crease halfway. Okay, so I went ahead and put a little bit of brownie from Marc Jacobs in my waterline just because I was like, I just wanted to. I forgot to put powder under my eyes, and I'm pretty shocked that there's like no fallout. I didn't have any with the Pro Pigment one, but it's like they're scary colors that you would really think are going to be powdery and nothing. So I am loving that part of this palette for sure. So I think what I want to do is use C1, which is right here, and then this shimmer right here. So let's go ahead with C1 first. I don't feel like these are pretty intense shimmers already. You don't necessarily, who is that? It's probably my sister. But I still like to get the brush wet, so I'm gonna do that in a second. I just don't like the way it looks in the pan after, you know what I mean? So I try to pick it up and then spray my brush, but I always end up dipping back in. And then I'm just like, it doesn't look as pretty. Yeah, so wet really, really intensifies the shadows of the palette for sure. I am in love with the tones and just the general aesthetic of this palette. This one definitely spoke to me the most for some reason. We'll obviously talk about it more in the end. But I'm on palette overload right now. Like, I can't afford to do a no-buy. Like, not that I can't afford, I'm broke. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm trying to tell myself, like, no more palettes for at least the next, like, month or so. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play with what I have. I still have another palette to review. I still have the 2 to do looks on. Like, I am just overwhelmed by how many palettes have been coming out. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and go back in with the orange shade and just kind of make sure that this looks a little bit more blended. All right, on the lower lash line, I'm gonna pretty much go in with the same shade. So I'm gonna go in with D1. And then I think I wanna brighten up the look a little bit. So I'm gonna grab the coral shade, which is E3. We'll see. If I don't like this, you know, we'll just go over it with another brown. Okay, and then lastly, on a big brush, I'm going to go ahead and grab B5, which is this shade right here. All right, guys, so this is the finished look with look 1. We're gonna jump into the colorful look, but I wanted to do at least one where it was a wearable look, where you can still get really classic looks out of it. I feel like for a $60 palette, you wanna be able to do both. So I hope you guys liked it. These are the Brittany Bear lashes. I wish they had a black lash band. That's my only, like, I love the lashes, but I need a black lash band. My eyes are gonna get so red from tight lining. It is going to be so bad. All right, let's get into look number 2. I feel a sneeze, but it's not happening. So hopefully, I think I'm definitely getting sick. Like, I'm just like, oh, and I mean, right now, I look sick. But these palettes definitely stain your eyes. Just know that. Like, my eyes look exhausted. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But I went ahead, I did try eye drops. You know, everyone always in the comments are like, put some eye drops in. I'm like, I do. But I am going to put some tape down. Oh my gosh. I totally just, I swatched to green and then I swatched my face. That's okay. I'm gonna buff that out later. So let's go ahead. I'm going to, gosh, I don't even know what I want to do with this palette right now. I'm gonna go into E1. I'm gonna kind of play with the greens, I believe, and some of the neon. So I don't know if I'm gonna do shimmer in this look. I'm just excited to play with it, you know? And I'm probably gonna take a NyQuil and try to feel a little bit better, because right now I can't tell if my nose is running because of allergies or because the client got me sick. So I'm just gonna pack this through here, through the outer corners. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab B2, which is this bluish shade right here. We're gonna kind of just play with the pops of blues and greens right now. I would say that that's definitely the most repetitive shades between 2 and 3. You guys will see from the swatches, but I needed time to do swatches, you know, so I kind of played with this a little bit yesterday in terms of like how each palette like looked as a whole. So those were probably the most common, but there was definitely a few where I felt like they were like actual dupes. So you guys will have to let me know with the swatches what you think. I'm loving these shades of green though. And you guys know, like I hate forest green, but I love these bright greens. And this is supposed to be more of a bluey tone. It's not necessarily looking that blue. I know you can see a little bit of my lash glue. We're just gonna ignore that though, it's okay. Okay, and then next we're gonna go into A4, which is the neon greeny shade. I kind of just wanna work with a lot of the greens. All right, and then I'm gonna take A1, which is the first shade of the palette. This yellow, like, what is it called? Like chartreuse color. And I'm going to just lightly blend that through the top, just so that everything kind of looks a little bit more seamless. I'm going to go in and pack a little bit more. Like these do pack a punch for sure, but I just want to make sure everything's nice and blended through. So I am going to go on top and layer quite a bit, but there is pigment right away, and so far I haven't had any type of fallout. Okay, so I like the way that this is looking, but I still feel like I need a little bit of a darker, like, outer corner. So there's not really a deep, like this is where like I would have pulled in like the palette 2, where I could use a dark blue for sure, like that will go really nicely, but I don't want to dip into another palette in this video. I kind of want to do like another video where I'm dipping into all 3 palettes. So let me know if you want to see that, but I want to stick with one palette at a time. That way I can really show you guys how these work or how you can make them work. So I am going to dip in, I don't really have a lot of options. I could either dip into the very, like this type of color or this one right here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with the deepest shade of the palette. You guys will see from some of the swatches, like I feel like there's quite a few repeat shades throughout the palette, but I just feel like if you're gonna have repeat shades, like I would have rather had them be the blacks or the whites of the palette. You know what I mean? That way it would kind of make sense, because I can always use a white, especially. I'm not really a huge, like, I don't use black a lot of the time, but especially like whites, I feel like I can always use that, especially when I take it too high up. Like, I don't feel like I have the eye shape where it looks great because I just don't have that much lid space. You know what I mean? So I can always use a white to like help buff it out. But yeah, just a little bit of dark brown. I don't want it to look too muddy, so I'm just gonna really pack that right there, and that's really all I'm gonna do, and then just blend it out. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take, I know this looks a little crazy right now, but I'm actually really loving it. I'm really loving these, like, what is her name? Poison Ivy. Okay. I didn't actually like her though. You know, like, I feel like just the greens remind me of Poison Ivy. So we are going to take B1 and maybe D5, like maybe both, but we're going to start with C1. I did do a little bit of concealer. I didn't do a full on like half cut crease. I just wanted to do a little bit of the front and see. I was just kind of playing with how I wanted my crease to like look. So I kind of smudged that blue like right underneath, but I don't know if you can really tell. So it's a lot of effort for not that much of a what I thought it was gonna look like. But this is a palette like I could just see myself wanting to sit down and play with like over and over and over again and just see what kind of looks I could create. Like I didn't really understand the point of the E2 in there, but now I'm like, oh, I actually like that in the outer corner. Like it's something I probably wouldn't have normally done, but I was kind of forced to. So I'm getting a little bit of powder kick up. I think I'm gonna add in just a little bit of D5, which is like the peachier tone. I was trying to do a whole butterfly cut crease thing, and I was like, I put myself in my place. Like I was just like, you don't have the lid space for this. Like it's just not gonna turn out the same way. Like it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I wish I had giant lids, but I just don't. So I'm gonna go back in. I just want to connect that dark shade, so I am going to go in with D2. And just kind of make sure that it looks somewhat cohesive for that top line. So what I put on the tape, definitely don't put on, like I left room so that I could connect up rather than having like a harsh line and then trying to figure out how to blow it back out. So it's a little bit messy. I'm gonna have to clean it up a little bit, but that's okay. It will come together. I don't know if I like that harsh edge. I kind of do because I don't ever do looks like this, so I think I might leave it pretty harsh. Maybe blend it just a tad. We're going to take that A1 shade for the inner part, just through here. I love this shade. Definitely one of my favorites. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the greens and smoke out a little bit more. All right, so this is how this look turned out. I really like it. It wasn't colors that I thought would go together, but I really like the way it turned out. I feel like a superhero, like a Power Ranger. Like I could be an Avengers movie. They have a million. But I really like the way it turned out. I do, I've been loving playing with color more and more lately, and I definitely want to know what color combinations you guys want to see. But, color takes a long time to learn. So let's go ahead and get into, or at least it was for me. But let's go ahead and get to comparison swatches of the 3 palettes, and then we'll talk. So here are the swatch comparisons. The easiest way for me to do it was to swatch it 1, 2, and 3 and compare the yellows and the purples and all those shades. So roll it. Okay, so here are the comparisons of all the pinks. I think out of anything, there were so many like pinkish burgundy colors. So you can see I kind of did sections. And I swatched these like on my legs, on my arms, everywhere. But I would say that this is the most common color story. So the first half is the Norvina 1, the middle is Norvina 2, and the last one's Norvina 3. So obviously Norvina 1 is the most like pink purple heavy, but you do have some pretty similar shades between the 3. Next up we have all the shimmers. The shimmers are gorgeous. I think 3 has the best hands down. Norvina 1 has some more shimmers, but they weren't anything similar. So 2 and 3 you have some similar shades. And here's another look at them. But oh my gosh, the 3 I would say is like Anastasia's best shimmers in any of the palettes that I have ever tried, for sure. And then here are the swatches of the browns and burgundies. Obviously Norvina 3 has the most neutral tones, but 2, 3, and 1 all have similar shades. And then here are the blues and greens. Obviously there's none in the first one, but 2 and 3 definitely have some pretty similar shades, if not dupes. And then here are the yellows. Norvina 1 has more of the mustardy yellows. 2 and 3 have the brighter ones. So it's still pretty similar in terms of shades. So as you can see, there's definitely, there's definitely dupes throughout. I would say if you're looking through all 3, I would say these 2 are the most similar. Like these, I feel like the, 1 is very purple heavy. If you love purples, then definitely go with the Norvina 1 palette. If you are more into blues, the second palette, and if you want kind of a mix, I feel like the third palette is going to be your best friend. I really think that like 2 is probably the least wearable, I would say, out of all the palettes in terms of the color story in 2. It's got a lot of darker blues, and it's got a lot of blues, and I felt like it was pretty similar to the third. Like definitely unique on its own, and I had that like thing where it's like, do I want, if I only get 1 and 3, am I gonna I feel like I'm leaving 2 out, and she's the middle sister, and I just can't do that. And I was just like, I have to play with it. So I can't give you like a review on this, but based on swatches, it looks like the same exact formula between the 3 palettes. They are $60, so they are pricey. I would say, really, if I wasn't on here reviewing and doing tutorials, would I have bought all 3? No. It's something I struggle with in general, trying to get YouTube videos out and also being like, be conscious of what you're spending. This was definitely like a hard one for me to like resist, and I was just, I can't buy any. I made the commitment to not buy colorful eyeshadow palettes at least for the rest of the year. But I feel like if you are, not really sure what to get, 3 to me is the most wearable. It has the most browns. It has, so rude out there. Just the most wearable tones to me. I feel like you can get so many good looks out of this, as well as, dipping your toes into like little pops of color. I feel like 3 is my favorite. I felt like the shimmer swatches in 3, like the shimmers to me in this one, for some reason feel higher quality than the other ones. They are just gorgeous. So 3 to me is the winner out of all 3. I think they're all 3 really pretty. It's just more of what you're gonna get used out of. Like really think about it first, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, they are $60. They're not cheap, you know what I mean? But for me, the quality of these palettes, I feel like, is so much better than the older quality of Anastasia palettes. Like I can really tell that these are different. I don't have any fallouts with any of the shades. So yeah, I do think they're worth the money, but I also don't think like, oh, go out and buy all 3 right now. Like if you hate blues, don't get the first one. Purple tends to be a color that we see in so many palettes. So, I mean, I would say 3 gives you something a little bit more unique where you probably can't find like this color story in your collection. You know what I'm saying? I think that's all I really want to bring up. I also just love I love the way that these palettes are packaged. They make it really easy. I love the A1, like the easy names to say. And then mirrors are really nice and big, but I'm also like, don't drop it. I feel like the palette is going to break, like the hard plastic. We'll see. But yeah, I would say between all the palettes, 3 is by far my favorite. I haven't even used 2 yet, but I already know like this is my color story, like for sure. I feel like it's perfect for spring, summer, anytime of the year. The one thing I will say is I wish that, there were some, if they were going to put duplicates, because I feel like that maroony shade is in every single palette. I'm like, you should have just done a neutral white. You know what I mean? Like, I would have just rather had it be a white that wasn't the same, and then, maybe a brow bone in each shade. That's why I wanted the white. So that's kind of my only critique on them. But other than that, I hope that this was useful. Let me know if you have any more questions. I am going to use the blue in a few tutorials as well. I think my eyeballs are going to fall off for today. I don't feel like I can put any more eyeshadow on, but I might try. So we will see, but let me know what you guys want to see from me next. Please don't forget to subscribe. I tried my hardest to give you guys, this video took forever, my poor eyeballs. So please subscribe, please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out. So that is it. I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know which palette you guys are picking up. I really want to know which one calls your name. Yeah, that is it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh, please crack. Oh, why? Oh. Did I shave?